Welcome everybody to a special episode of Geekfest Rants. This is episode 5, the New York Comic Con review show. We've attended New York Comic Con this past weekend, and we have a special 2-part episode that will deal with some of the things we saw at New York Comic Con. We have a special guest that is going to help us talk about what we saw. His name is Michael Sutton, and let's get started. Hi, once again, this is Carlos Perone, and today joining me is Mike Sutton. Say hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Today's topic, as we mentioned earlier, is going to be a review of Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con 2010, which occurred a few days ago. We are going to recap a few of the panels and events that we saw there. Mike was there all 3 days. I was there on Sunday, the last day, along with my family. So let's just go day by day. Mike, tell me about what you heard and saw on Friday.
Well, Friday was pretty neat, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of panels. Of course, it started in the afternoon. Only a half a day, which unfortunately, if it was the whole day, it'd be so much better. There's so much stuff to look at and listen to.
How were the crowds?
It was mobbed. It was a lot of people. I mean, last year was 70,000, and now this year they combined to an anime con or New York Anime.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe 100,000 on Saturday. It was a madhouse.
Is Saturday usually the busiest day?
Yep, Saturday's the busiest day. I mean, that's when everybody's out. I took off on Friday just to come to Comic-Con. I've been doing that for the past 3 years.
Wow.
So it's always fun to go. And the IGN Theater is one of the biggest things for me because it's the movie stuff. You know, let's hear about the different movies that are coming up and the projects. And like on Friday, they had Seth Green was there for Robot Chicken. He showed some of the clips for Star Wars Episode 3 or his third.
This is his third comedy. Was it Comedy Channel or Cartoon Network?
That's a good question. Comedy Channel. I think. Don't even remember now.
I think it might be Cartoon Network.
I think it's the Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so this is his third Star Wars special, which they're all done with Lucas's permission, I understand, like the previous two.
Yes. Yeah, he even said that as long as you can use the characters and Lucas is happy with it, you just don't rip it off scene by scene, line by line. He's just happy with it because he knows it's a parody. So he has no problems with that. And everybody remembers he was in the first one.
That's right.
He was down, he's in an elevator, and the little geeky guy, which I can't remember his name, shows up. And he's like, "You're George Lucas."
Ironic, he actually did his own voice, but for the Clone Wars, like a week ago, he played a character that he played on Revenge of the Sith, and he did not do his own voice for his own character. So I guess he really likes Robot Chicken.
So, and that's pretty funny.
And when is that coming?
That's coming out in December.
Cool.
At the same time, a week later or 2 weeks later will be the Christmas special for Robot Chicken. Looks hysterical. One of the things poses the question, not to give too much away, but who's faster, Santa Claus or Superman? And it has a little bit of a race to figure out who's faster, since Superman is the fastest being on the planet, but Santa Claus can deliver all those presents in one night.
There you go.
So who's quicker? Seth is going to answer that
and
for
this
us.
is another special. Now, has he done Christmas specials before, or this is the first Christmas?
I believe this is the first Christmas special. Not aware of any other Christmas Robot Chicken.
So it's a new trend. The specials are coming.
So, but that was pretty neat. That was on Friday. The other things were the DC First Look, Superman versus Shazam. It's not really versus Shazam. Shazam it's an origin story, but they got Superman in there.
But this is for DVD?
This is straight to DVD.
Oh, okay, it's like the other ones that have been out lately. Okay, we watched a few of those with Kyle's, all these new Superman, Batman ones they have.
It's all the DVDs that DC Comics has been doing, DC Home Video or Warner Video. I don't remember the name of it. But yes, it's straight to DVD. It's got Shazam. It's the first time they're using Shazam, and they wanted to start using characters that they haven't seen for a while.
Wow.
So
they're doing about maybe 2 of these a year now, I think.
1 to 2 a year.
And that's just DC, because I know Marvel also does their own
Marvel does
straight-to-DVD features.
But I haven't heard anything about Marvel, and unfortunately, being in the IGN Theater for half a Friday and half a Saturday, I didn't get a chance to see the other panels. Because, again, like I said, IGN Theater is the best, because it's got all the movies and things.
Cool.
And just trying to think what else was Friday. Actually, on Friday, I did make it to one comic panel. It was what's coming up with the X-Men. that seems interesting. They wouldn't give anything away like Marvel always does. They just say, oh, we're doing this. Here's the new projects coming out. There's another X title coming out in January. I don't remember the name of it. They showed a silhouette of all the characters for the front cover, but they said it's a little misleading. You're going to have to guess who the people are, which you hate that. It keeps you on your, the suspense going.
But I guess that works for the fans.
But it works for the fans. They said, actually, if you go to Marvel.com, in the next couple of weeks, they're going to print out the same photo that they showed us. And then weeks after that, they'll start dropping some hints, and we get to figure out who's going to be there in the next book. So
cool.
That could be cool. A lot of fun. Big X-Men fan. And looking forward to it. We'll see what other book is out there.
Cool.
And let's see what else we did on Friday. Well, that was really it on Friday. And then I ran out into the big dealer floor and the main floor, which is just sensory overload. I mean, pick a company.
A sea of people, from what I remember.
It's a madhouse. It's a madhouse. The quote, good old Planet of the Apes.
But just about everything you could think of. I mean, from what I remember, there was a definite comic contingency there, but it's all, you got your toys, you got your posters, you got your, all kinds of material, Japanese stuff. It's all over the place.
Right. It's a pop culture event. Mm-hmm. It's everything. Comic books, toys, even home video. Aliens.
That's right.
All coming to Blu-ray.
The 20th Century Fox display area with aliens, Avatar, some other movies they were promoting.
RoboCop. They're also coming out with a RoboCop Blu-ray. You get the first first three movies.
Right.
Of course, we all know the first one's the best, but could be fun. I did sit and go into the sleep cryo chambers.
Oh, you saw that presentation they had?
Yep, which was pretty neat. You lay down and you've got speakers at your feet, your head. There's a screen in front of you showing clips of all the movies.
Wow.
And it's loud and dark, and it was pretty cool.
And you got your free shirt?
And I got my free T-shirt. And it says, want a hug on the front.
Maybe that's why everybody's offering free hugs. Remember, Kim was asking us.
That could be why we had all those free hugs.
I doubt it.
But I doubt it.
Now the Alien set is all Alien films, from what I understand.
Yep, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. But it comes into a nice case of an egg and an alien around it.
Oh boy,
that's the nice part. But do we really need?
Nope.
Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection?
No. Hopefully, in the future, they'll start selling them individually, and that's when I'll probably jump in and grab the first two.
Yeah, me too. And I hope that the second one, Aliens, is going to get cleaned up, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of blurry and grainy in spots.
I remember, and we talked about this, that was one of the biggest complaints when the Laserdisc came out, God knows how many years ago, and they kept insisting that it was not a defect. They kept insisting that's just the grain of the film that they used and the look that they wanted, I guess, or the look that they got, and we have to live with it. But I don't know. Maybe these days they can clean it up some more. We'll never know. You never know. Now, let me ask you something quick. The Predator, is that, you said a 2 or a 3 movie set?
No, I think that was only the newest Predators, the movie that just came out in the summer.
So this release has nothing to do with the original ones?
Correct.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the original. The Predators, Robert Rodriguez's film, will be out, I think, in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So
I want to definitely rent that.
Sometime in the late October, that one will be out. So, got to get that one. I thought that movie was pretty cool. It wasn't too cheesy.
Waiting to see that one.
Well worth watching. It is a throwback to the first one. Some of the same music and just the basic premise of throw a bunch of killers on a planet.
Would you say
2 or 3 predators out there and
pick them one at a time?
And pick them off one at a time.
Would you say it's better than let's say, from the second film all through the Predator versus Aliens type of films?
I thought it was better than the second Predator film.
Uh-huh.
A little better. Just the fact that it was straightforward. There was no subplot. It's killers against their predators.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, well,
Don't worry about the buddy cop trio.
I'm definitely going to try it. Now, how many Predator versus Aliens have they put out now? 2?
2.
3?
Predator versus Alien.
There was one called Requiem.
And Predator versus Alien Requiem.
And there was another one, I think. I
think that's it. There are only 2.
Huh.
I think there's 2. The second one I thought was neat. It had its possibilities. But again, that's another podcast we can sit and...
Yeah, that's a whole other hour to think about. What else you got?
Let's see, then Saturday, I stayed for Trailer Park. We got a new Harry Potter trailer.
Now, what is Trailer Park?
Trailer Park was just movie trailers. That's all it was.
Back-to-back trailers.
Back-to-back trailers.
Like the old convention days where the main attraction was basically watching trailers because there was no internet back then and there was no other way of seeing it. I remember until the movie, something called the Movie Channel came out, which years later became E, or the Entertainment Channel. And when that first started, I remember it was my only way of seeing some of these trailers at home on an actual television set. But before that, you go to the convention and some guy would bring some 16 millimeter reel that he would just thread up there and show it to everybody, and then that was the only way. But now I guess you can go completely insane with these trailers.
Yeah, thanks to the internet and realizing that fans want to see trailers.
It's part of the convention experience.
It's part of it and part of the movie experience. I mean, like you, I enjoy watching the trailers because you never know what's going to pop up.
And the trailers a lot of times are better than the actual movies.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But again, the Harry Potter movie looked good. There's another movie, Battle L.A.
Now, was that announcement made at the convention that the next Harry Potter will not be 3D as opposed to what they said?
Nope, I found that on the internet. That was at the HollywoodReporter.com.
So the trailer you saw, did it still advertise it as 3D, or they already removed the 3D reference?
They removed the 3D reference.
Wow. Because if I think about it, I think it was only at the end that they said in 3D. The rest of the... I mean, you saw stuff coming at you, but you didn't necessarily realize it was 3D until the end of the trailer. So I guess they just trimmed the end of the trailer.
Yeah, they just clipped off the 3D. Just first part in November, second part in 2011. So it's pretty neat. Some new scenes. It was pretty cool. I don't want to give too much away. I'm sure it's out on the internet by now, so go look for it. Yeah. If you're a Harry Potter fan, gotta look for it. I'm looking forward to that movie.
Well, that's the thing. Some of these trailers, I mean, some are already out there, but some stuff that premiere, it's there for the first time, and it's not necessarily out there yet. It might show up a week or two later. Somebody might show a bootleg of it, but sometimes they officially, purposely not release it because they want to generate this anticipation, and only the fans get to see it first, and that sort of thing.
Right, and that's the big thing too with the IGN Theater. They say that coming out that there's a lot of these trailers and clips from the panels no one has seen before. So we're even luckier than San Diego Comic-Con that came out this summer.
That's right.
Because we're later. San Diego was back in July, and now we got to see some of the newer stuff that's coming out.
They can throw you a couple of new bones.
A couple of new bones and new things to look at. There was a new Green Hornet trailer. Looks cool, but again, as we say, trailers look great until the movie shows up.
I remember because when I was there, they were not in this IGN theater, but on the exhibitor floor, they were showing a Green Hornet 3D trailer on a monitor that people could watch with glasses. Is that the same thing you saw?
Similar scenes, but they did add other things.
Did you see it in 3D?
I did not watch it in 3D. I just took a look at it without it.
But the general presentation was not in 3D?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
General presentation is not in 3D at all.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So,
how did the trailer look? Because I remember I saw the first trailer, and I wasn't that impressed, to tell you the truth. There's certain, some of the actors I wasn't too crazy about, and I know it's trying to be kind of funny, and I didn't find it that funny. The second trailer, I mean, how did you feel about the first one as compared to the second one?
About the same. It just, I don't see Seth Rogen, same tone. I just don't see him as the action-adventure superhero type guy.
The Robert Downey type.
The Robert Downey. Right. But again, we were surprised with Robert Downey as Iron Man.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton as Batman. We all thought same problem with...
That was the biggest surprise.
Was he going to be good as a comedian as Batman? He did well.
I remember when they were, again, back in the ancient days when I used to go to conventions in the 80s, and the news was circulating that they were doing a Batman film and Michael Keaton was cast. I remember the fan uproar was tremendous. They were so angry, and they were like, "This is a comedian. What are you doing? You're ruined this thing already, even before it starts." And it was a similar reaction, I believe, to the way that people reacted to Battlestar Galactica when they first announced that they were remaking it, and they were recasting certain characters. Female characters were male characters were female, and people were just as upset. And then everything kind of settled down when they watched it and they got into it. But yeah, I remember that whole Batman scare.
Again, because that's us fans. You want it a certain way. When Hollywood says, "You know what? No, let's do this," we don't like it.
Right.
And again, I'm a purist too. I like a lot of the original movies. The remakes are okay, but you always like the original. And
again, recently also the similar thing happened with Star Trek, the 2009 reimagining, remake, whatever we want to call it. A lot of the hardcore fans had big issues with the fact that certain things now went out the window. The canon of the stories were changed, and people were very upset. Even though, in my opinion, the movie was great. I loved it, but I know that some of the hardcores are still upset about it.
Same thing. I loved it. I liked it. I thought it was a nice reimagining, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
A movie that doesn't work, which I've told you many times, is the original Godzilla movie. When TriStar came out with that Godzilla movie, that thing is awful.
Ronald Emmerich, right?
Yeah, Roland Emmerich.
Yeah.
They just missed the mark, and again, as a true Godzilla fan, that is not a Godzilla movie. There's several reasons, and again, that could be another podcast.
Well, you can tell yourself it was a remake of the Beast from 2000 Fathoms.
Oh, that was, yes, The Beast in 20,000 Fathoms.
20,000 Fathoms, yeah.
It was also a remake of Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park in Manhattan.
You had raptors at the end.
That's right.
Those little mini Godzillas running around.
Godzilla never dealt with that.
And it was really 3 parts. The first movie was a retelling like the original Godzilla movie, about the sunken ship, the footprints, the claw marks, was great.
Let me tell you something. That is a trademark of this particular director. All his movies, I always find this pattern. I love the setup. I love the mystery before you realize what happens. Independence Day, 2012, Day After Tomorrow. All these films that he makes, he's the modern day Irwin Allen. He's the disaster guy.
Yep.
And even in the Godzilla film, the setup is cool, and then it's like, oh, okay, whatever.
And then he just came out and for that movie, just screwed it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that was 3 movies. That was an homage to the original Godzilla movie, but then it became The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and then it became Jurassic Park. So, anyway, but I digress. Let's move on. I don't want to stay on too much. One of the other trailers that came out was Sucker Punch. I've heard of it. I have no idea what it's really about.
What was it?
I saw a lot of things going on, and I'm not even sure what the movie is about.
But what was the theme? Is it a fantasy, horror?
It's a fantasy, sci-fi type movie, but I thought at times it was like an anime feel to it, so I'm not really sure what it is. Unfortunately,
I'm going to have to take a look at
we're going to have to look at the trailer to see
it sounds
more.
familiar.
One of the highlights, though, is the Thing prequel.
Oh, that I wish I could have seen.
Comes out next year, yes. I know you love the John Carpenter.
And this is a film. This isn't an internet thing or a DVD thing, right?
Right. This is a film. Comes out next summer.
Any known names?
Other than Echo from Lost, he will be in it.
Echo from Lost? Oh, my God.
He's the only one that I know of as soon as I saw his face. They use actually a lot of Norwegians, actors.
Oh, that's cool.
They felt that, well, we're filming it, and it's supposed to
be a Norwegian team, right?
team from John Carpenter's, so we should have Norwegian actors play.
Is there any official Carpenter attachment to this film?
None. The only thing he wanted was a possible cameo in the movie. But they wouldn't say yes, and they wouldn't say no. So we'll have to wait and see if John Carpenter shows up.
He could write the music at least.
They talked about the music. A fan did ask a question about the music because the clips that they showed us, which was really cool, was the same style of music as John Carpenter. And he says, yes, they will pay a little homage to his music in there, but they didn't want to get too much detail. They're still recording the music and editing the film.
This has so much potential to go really well or really bad, because there is so much story behind his version of the thing. Everything that led up to the beginning of his movie, it's huge.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of the fans sitting there were saying, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, we're going to tell the story about the Norwegian camp, finding the alien specimen frozen in a block of ice, but also finding the ship. And the clips are quick. It looks like they actually go into the alien ship. So they're unearthing the ship, going inside,
and doing stuff in there,
and doing other things. Somebody actually asked, will we see what the alien really looks like? And they hinted that, yeah, you will. You're going to see what it looks like, but they throw out, do you know if that's its true appearance? Perhaps it went to another planet,
and it's just
morphed
another
into
weird
another creature from that planet that's now made it to Earth. So we don't know really, is that the real look of the creature, but he says you will see it. You will get to see what it looks like. And again, they tried to recreate a lot of the scenes and the sets similar to John Carpenter's.
And the other question we talked about before is, will they bridge it exactly to the beginning of the other film?
And somebody asked that. That was one of the questions from another fan. Says, will we see the dog come running into the camp? and they would not answer that question. Said you will have to watch the film. So either A, it could be, or B, maybe they'll leave it open for another sequel. They're not saying that all the people that were there died, so we don't know.
Okay.
That should be a lot of fun. That's definitely a movie looking forward to for next year. Another one is Your Highness, from the creators of Pineapple Express. That movie looks hysterical. It's got the same cast members from Pineapple Express.
Seth Rogen?
Other than Seth Rogen, I didn't see him show up.
Oh, okay.
I can't
James
remember.
Franco?
James Franco's going to be there. He plays a prince, and he needs to go and rescue his bride, the
Danny
princess.
McBride? Is Danny McBride
I
in
think
it?
Danny McBride is back,
And the guy from The Office?
and I think possibly. I don't remember the
forget
guy
his
from The
name.
Office's name, but yeah, there's three of them there, and they're on the holy quest to get his girlfriend back and the princess, and it's comedy. It's set in a fantasy world with sorcerers
An adult comedy, and that's unusual. You don't see too many adult comedies that are fantasy based or fantasy themed.
And again, the director said one of the things he was looking at was he always remembers growing up watching Deathstalker, Conan the Barbarian, all these barbarian flicks, and said, those are a lot of fun movies. We should do our own and put a little twist on it as a Pineapple Express type twist. So
Cool.
Looks really funny. Same thing, there's no trailer out yet.
Oh.
They showed us some clips of the movie.
Okay.
They threw it together just to give us an idea of the flavor of the movie and what it's going to be like. It's definitely a comedy. And with foul language, they also say gratuitous nudity, but we didn't see anything.
Typical adult comedy.
A typical adult comedy. They said the trailer will be out soon. They just didn't have a time or a date. So we'll just have to sit and wait. That should be fun. Definitely on my list to watch. And the last panel I got to see on Saturday, because again, you can sit in the IGN theater for the whole day and not see anything of the show.
Yep.
I mean, unfortunately, I'll be honest, I backed out on the Women of Battlestar Galactica panel.
Oh.
I didn't stay for that. I mean, Katie Sackhoff was there.
I saw
trying to
the
think who
girl
else.
who played Callie was in the autograph area. I don't know
Yep.
what other women were there from. Oh,
She
Michelle
was-
Forbes.
Michelle Forbes, yes,
was
they were
there.
all going to be there. I bailed out on that. Yeah, it's old news. But again, I wanted to get back out on the main floor and see
Yeah,
all
there's
the...
a whole other area that could easily take you an entire day to go through.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does.
And the same thing, I backed out on V. They also had the cast of V.
Yeah.
I forgot the woman's name who was... Morena Bacardi,
yeah.
something like that. She was there. Also, the original evil woman,
Diana, Jane Badler.
Jane Badler. She was on site, so they were going to talk about the season 2, but again, missed it. So if anybody out there, hopefully you saw something good. I'm assuming you saw some clips.
Hopefully it'll show up on the internet somewhere. It's funny because if you think about it, I almost feel like the only reason the V panel made it is because of somebody flipped a coin at ABC and said, okay, it's Flash Forward or V. Boom, they flipped the coin and V got to stay, Flash Forward got to go, so these guys made it. I like the show. I like Flash Forward also. I wish they would have kept both of them, but hey, I'd rather keep one than none at all, so I'm going to keep going with the show. I like the show. Let's keep going. It's the only I think it's the most sci-fi show that's out there now. I mean, the event it has a huge sci-fi edge to it the more you get into it, but V is out there in your face sci-fi. It doesn't get more sci-fi than that.
And again, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't watched the event, but I did watch V. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens on the second season. It's a great reimagination, a nice update. So that should be a lot of fun. And well, that was it for Saturday. And like I said, unfortunately, I went back on the floor and just went to everything else that's out there. I mean, Nintendo had a booth. I don't remember what the other software company, some more video games.
Yeah, a lot of the big ones were there. I think Hasbro had a booth also.
Hasbro.
And, DK Books, Del Rey, all the big, media publishers, and on top of the huge selection of other fantasy genre books out there. They're all out there.
Oh yeah, even Animal Planet was there. They were promoting some upcoming episode, The Lost Tapes, something about I think lost animals. I don't know what they were searching for. They had their own display. I didn't go in. I went, it's Animal Planet. Just move on. Unfortunately. And again, the dealer's room. My God, the dealer's room. So I spent another 2 hours just walking around. What to buy, wishing I had money to buy. Now, as a comic book collector, there's enough comic books out there to drive you crazy.
Well, thank you for joining us for our special coverage of New York Comic Con. This is the end of part 1. Please join us again in a couple of days when we'll be posting part 2 of our coverage of New York Comic Con. Thank you.